Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news: Lands Minister Elijah MUCHIMA cautions UPND CADRES against illegal land allocation. LUSAKA'S KAMWALA flood victims ask government for intervention as another body is discovered in the area. Lusaka police round up 125 junkies from the compounds. In international news, the Senegalese opposition accused of destabilizing the country as death toll hits 15. And in sports news, KARIM BENZEMA to leave Real Madrid after 14 years at the club.
On National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest.
And the people that have got the passion and desire are equipped with something. They shouldn't be doing mining like Badeli Makandolo. You know, those people have got the capacity to turn around our economy. These same people that we look down on. We don't have to always be rushing for investors.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello again and welcome to Camnet Television News. News in detail: some residents of LUSAKA'S KAMWALA South area are calling for government's intervention to dry up some households that were highly affected by the 2022-2023 flooding situation. Derek Mazimba explains to Camnet News that the area has become a breeding ground of crime as an unknown man is believed to have allegedly been murdered and dumped by unknown people 2 weeks ago in the flooded area. The residents are concerned that concerned about their safety and are calling for a quick response from the government. More in the following report.
The devastations of the 2022-2023 rainy season, which resulted in heavy flooding in some parts of the country, Lusaka inclusive, are still clear. However, the flooding nightmare is still visible as residents in KAMWALA South are concerned with their safety due to the stagnant water which is being used for criminal activities. The residents woke up to a rude shock as a dead body was seen floating on the water. They explained to this journalist that an unidentified man is believed to have been killed and dumped at the residential area 2 weeks ago. This is the latest sad narrative after a boy drowned earlier this year. The residents are calling on government to quickly find a lasting solution.
Kanina 1 week kuno. So baneba mairo pe bana banakuka mairo. So bazunguluke kuseli baone kunyumba kulia ba mayi wao jepe bana peza board na kubolo niita na inatimami. Kwani munioneleko ine naona munga kapani imbwa oloni chichani. So pameni nangiena nekujumpa pa fence kwatu napeza zona ni muntu. Jepe meni nabauza nataba makena makao ni muntu. So tieni ku polisi. So tikaibe kuenda ku polisi tinaenda futi kuza baneba ndiye banali na namba ya bakansera. So kutumira bakansera ndiye kwamba ati okay kansera kanitumire bakapokola ndiye pe banatumira bakapokola banabwera zona bana checking that was kuma 16 hours bana checking banabwera baona 10 body so ndiye pamene mairo banabwera usiku banakangiwa kaini pali chimugodi chitali pali manze mwamene mwayaonera so banakangiwa kuti bachose ndiye banatuza titizabwera tikatenge
titandize ko munjira iliyo otherwise ma dead bodies muzalika kukopa muzalika kuyadu so tifuna ife issue iside kai pomporora manzi banakangiwa so still bamanje new don government kwetienda kaya
eko tora butuke yangu setwa kwata abana banono tatwa kwa tempio chitatukukira turefa mumwe government takwa government ishakwa tempia yonse government ari kwa tempia vatu wafe kuno tufume konga kuma tenti twadilanda kale tutwale kuma tenti twala twikale tatwa kwa to wafero panono fibika but not kwikala kuli inoso ile monekaso awe mwanzi ni aba pati kwafira abantu babiri muri semye abantu babiri ebo turesanga but oko yala ila ye ukutwa nibango obo tukasanga kuno twapapa twafirisheni ko twafirisheni tufumeko.
We don't feel safe. We no longer feel safe. It's not safe even for the children, as you can see. Rain season is over, but look at me behind. Yes.
Nankala 4 days twabwa kumchosa. Until yapamanyi bambotaira ko bantu. Manchi tizangala bwanji kuno tupempe ko government standards. Tilangane epo kuno tafuti kwa kamana.
Police spokesperson Reha Monga was yet to confirm by broadcast time. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Elijah MUCHIMA has vowed not to entertain purported ruling United Party for National Development UPND cadres in illegal land acquisition countrywide. This is in relation to the Kampasa community of Chongwe district, which have reported its Member of Parliament Sylvia Masebo to the Anti-Corruption Commission SEC for alleged illegal possession of over 158 hectares of community land. But Dr. MUCHIMA has advised the Kampasa community to present the evidence gathered to his ministry for investigation purposes, citing that land would not be dubiously allocated on party grounds. On Saturday, 3rd June 2023, Kampasa residents vowed to protest at State House if their issues are not resolved by June 9th, alleging that the land in question is recognized as farm number 33A and has no title. More in the following report.
Land wrangles have for some time been the country's center of talks. These are over 1,500 residents of Kampasa village in Chongwe district who have allegedly reported Area Member of Parliament Sylvia Masebo to the Anti-Corruption Commission SEC for alleged illegal possession of over 158 hectares of land. Kampasa Community Executive Treasurer Oliver Kubanja alleges that Ms. Masebo owns the Kampasa land through a foreigner identified as Lictor from Galunia Farms Limited. The Kampasa residents have since given a 5-day ultimatum from Monday to Friday for their issue to be resolved, failure to which a march to State House is imminent.
Tuzaenda pa State House paja. Tuzankala pamene paja until President mwina wake akachoke mu State House. Nobona mushita address. Because these ministers, because our ministers, kuyambira wamene Sylvia Masebo, kuyambira wamene uja waku means of lands. These are tycoon, sir. These are tycoon.
Why tikambati iwe? Ndiwali behind ikateo mu 2012 bantu tinali pamene apa. Now iwe Honorable Masebo unabwera na kukambati ilandi ni ya muzungu, which is 2012. Then mu 2012 yankala tabe
navutika maningi mu Kampasa malo kuja makolo yatu yanange na kale yanankalapo kale zaka na zaka. Sono pamela tinankhala zaka paja takula pamela tinakula paja kuti timangeko kamalo katu akuti ayi chokani banatipilikisa kwati ndise agalu umu noto ikila waya ninga kuti kapena tinaba koma stinabe ndiposo nobwela kuti pasa pano tinachepa bebambiri sibanapasiwe malo.
Meanwhile, Minister of Land and Natural Resources, Dr. Elijah MUCHIMA, has vowed not to entertain purported UPND cadres to be allocating and selling the said land illegally. Unlike the Patriotic Front, the UPND wants to bring sanity in the administration of land in the country.
We have records here of the farm in my office. What happened was, overzealous cadres went there and chose an area and subdivided it into 900 parcels of land. Wanted to allocate themselves. And this government is saying no cadreism. The best route would have done is, yes, Garuna had this land for a long time. And some of the land maybe has not been utilized. But through means of local government, negotiate through the minister, Member of Parliament. Go and talk to the owner. Either we purchase it or he subdivides a portion to help us. It happens. But not using the power like the way PF were doing it.
Meanwhile, efforts to get a comment from Chongwe Member of Parliament did not materialize by broadcast time as her phone went unanswered. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Chongwe.
The Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, Acting Operations Manager Webi Simwai, has disclosed that his organization is working with other sector players in order to effectively manage plastic pollution in the country. Mr. Simwai has underscored the need to promote an organized circular economy in line with the green agenda. Meanwhile, Xinhua Operations Manager Mishek Simwanza says lack of proper regulation and coordination in the West recycling industry is a huge problem. Tomorrow, June 5th, Zambia will join the global community in marking World Environment Day under the theme Beat Plastic Pollution.
Plastic pollution remains a big problem, negatively affecting the country, and Lusaka is not spared from the vice. One of the ways of reducing plastic pollution is through the 3R concept of reducing, reusing, and recycling that helps in reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and save the environment. And here is the Chunga dam site that has been a subject to poor waste management in the Zambian waste management discourse, and this is where most of the waste pickers are found. The waste pickers continue to complain of lack of protective equipment for safety purposes and most of all, poor pricing given the huge time and effort they invest in picking plastic materials.
Pani wa government kapani watu wajole matupelekera katundu kwenda kugulisa matigura kwa mapipi because tema pesa kama mune mabottles muri manyerets muvambi vanhu vafunga vimanga vimapika moyo watu paliski ma changes tema pita moyo nkani ya kugwesa mitengo kwa ma Chinese sometimes bani sumembekezera pesa pesa ma Chinese wagwesa mitengo chimwe vintu vigula modula mwende mugulise kuja mapanga.
With the help of the Zambia Environmental Management Agency ZEMA, we had an opportunity to visit a waste recycling company owned by a Chinese investor who are buying plastic materials. Mishek Simanza is Xinhua Company Operations Manager.
The waste, specifically plastic waste, and ensure that it is value is added to that plastic waste. How do we add value? We ensure that it is sorted according to the kind of plastic that we are looking for, and then it is crushed, and then it is packaged. On one front, it is packaged for onward provision to companies that make different finished plastic products out of recycled material. So we fit in very well in the 3 R's. We try as much as possible to ensure that there's reduction of waste that goes first of all to the landfill and that also clogs the drainages that would otherwise provide parasites for disease.
Lack of proper regulation and coordination in the waste recycling industry is a problem he acknowledged as a contributing factor to poor pricing.
Do not get a reasonably fair price. Why is that so? That is because there are different value chain players in the circular economy or the recycling industry. The first beneficiaries are the industries that manufacture products out of the recycled materials. And so I believe the engagement of the people that do the manufacturing would play a good role in ensuring that the prices for the materials goes up.
We spoke to the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA Acting Operations Manager, Webi Simwai.
Before we can even think of reducing, the best thing that we're supposed to do is to prevent. Let's prevent as much waste generation as possible. And if we can't do that, that's now when we come to the first R, which is reduction. Let's not go and pick 50 plastic bag from ShopRite when you just need to use 2. Let's reduce the amount of waste that we are putting in the environment. And then let's reuse. This is why we have seen we have now regulating the thickness of the plastic. It's because we want no single use of plastic. We want, if I buy this plastic, I can use it as many times as possible because the thickness is something that is durable. And the thickness helps when it comes to recycling such plastic as opposed to those very thin plastics. When you subject them to thermal, they actually not very good recyclable materials.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Residents of Chunga area in Lusaka's Matero constituency have appealed to the Lusaka City Council to provide security at the dump site, alleging that some community-based enterprises are disposing of waste at undesignated places. The residents say the operations which take place in the night have led to waste spilling over to the nearby residential houses and roads. Meanwhile, Lusaka City Council Public Relations Officer Wolamba Nyambe says plans are underway to ensure the dump site is secured. More in this report.
Dump sites in low and middle-income countries like Zambia are commonly used for solid waste disposal as opposed to landfills, However, these are naturally unsanitary, hence provide ideal conditions for breeding of disease-transmitting agents and become inclining factors for spread of diseases and infections to surrounding communities. This is Chunga dump site, which is surrounded by residential houses, which has angered residents who explain that uncoordinated disposal of waste at the dump site by the various waste management companies has not only resulted in blocking the roads, but has posed a health hazard to people living in the nearby households. The residents are calling for a coordinated way of disposing of waste and security at the dump site, alleging that some CBEs are dumping waste at undesignated spaces.
As you can see, this dumping site is not even full. So what is happening is that because there is no security, so people are just dumping the garbage outside, covering the road as you have seen it. A few days ago, I don't know if it's the Lusaka City Council, they came on board and they started moving the garbage a bit inside. But just after a few days, they have stopped.
Abantu wanambo taking advantage because wanambo tena mu roads these days. Even nama business here to end down because wantu wanaiko pita na mamoto kayankala blocked.
Vimafika monse muno bantu bakangopita buno buli na mamoto kayosa kangopita. Kwacha ichishara. So tipempa ko government itandize ko padi vishara.
Meanwhile, Lusaka City Council Public Relations Officer Bulamba Nyambe says plans are underway to ensure the dump site is secured.
It's illegal, it's not supported by any law. So what those community-based enterprises are doing is against the law. So our only message to them is that they should desist from doing so, because the law will soon follow them. The LCC is actually in talks with the Minister of Local Government to ensure that security is provided. I'm sure you are aware that it should be 2 to 3 months ago, the Minister of Local Government visited the dumping site. So those are some of the things that they are trying to put measures to ensure that there is security. So going forward, the Ministry will give a guidance in terms of what is going to be there in as far as security is concerned.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Social scientist Innocent Kolala has charged that it is illogical for the opposition Patriotic Front to postpone a central committee meeting because most of its members are attending court sessions and appearing before investigative wings. Last week, acting party president Given Lubinda prescribed 10th June as the date to hold the party central committee meeting, where it will discuss its constitution. Mr. Kolala has advised the former ruling party to put its house in order by putting to bed the issue of the party presidency, as failure to do so is eroding the confidence of its members at grassroots level.
It's now close to 2 years since our former president Edgar Lungu resigned as party president, yet the opposition Patriotic Front has failed to reach common grounds to elect its leader. And in recent months, the country has been treated to rumors on the purported ECL comeback to active politics. It is worth noting that the party wrangles are also before the court, and one of the presidential contenders, Mao Sampa, is spearheading the case against this political party, a move governance activists believe may swallow the former ruling party like other political parties who went that route. Previously, fine-tuning the party constitution was among attributes as to why they could not hold a convention to elect a party president, but even the recent meeting could not be held for the reason that most party members of the Central Committee are dating the courts and others facing arrests and detentions.
After consulting colleagues, we came to the inescapable position that the mood in the party now is not good enough. Otherwise, we may do a bad job with the constitution.
But social scientist Innocent Kolala provided and solicited advice.
The meeting which they called last Saturday, where they were supposed to hold the meeting to discuss their constitution, which of course they have been given as an excuse to its members that it was the reason why they were not holding the convention, because they needed to have a new, they needed to go to the convention with a new constitution which was supposed to go and be approved from that side. Then it has delayed for almost 2 years now, that they have been just talking about the same constitution, the same constitution, which is very, very unfortunate. And the excuse which they gave, the reason why they could not proceed, of course, holding that meeting, of saying, you know, because certain members of that central committee, they were traveling to go and face, of course, the court of law. And the reason why they felt, no, they could not go ahead sitting and discussing the constitution, purporting to say, I think there is too much persecution from the ruling political party. This is very, very unfortunate.
He says the PF is too disorganized to provide credible checks and balances to the governing United Party for National Development, UPND. He says the PF needs true rebranding in order for people to take it serious.
In terms of appearing in court, we have said this time and again, if they were part of the governing system and they were given alternative to ensure that they handle the public resources, these are the only people who are going to be approached by the security wing, so that I think they explain what happened on some of the resources. This is not persecution. We have said this time and again. So if they are innocent, let them. It's only the court which can exonerate them, not any other institution. Actually, they are even supposed to be happy that they are being taken to institutions which can hear them, as unlike being, of course, accused of doing something which they might have not done.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The United Party for National Development, UPND National Trustee Grace Chivube has charged that President Hakainde Hichilema's administration is walking the talk and is committed to addressing the high cost of living. Speaking to Camnet News, Ms. Chivube explains that government has demonstrated seriousness towards addressing the high fuel prices, which has a trickle-down effect to all sectors of the economy. She further says the Constituency Development Fund CDF is one government intervention that will benefit the people of Zambia. She adds that the procurement of vehicles for monitoring of the CDF projects is evidence of government's resolve to ensure accountability in the execution of development.
As you are aware, the President, he said, this year, 2023, I'm coming down, we as the party down, to see how people, they are living. But for HH and the team, Nana Lumango, what we are doing now is to see that fuel ya cheaper, if ya kulia fibwele, panshi, umutengo, ama business, this is CDF, ili muma constituency. Abantu batampo kuibonfya. Echo babikila nama vehicles, monitoring vehicles. Ile ya muku checking okumona ati why ishimpi abantu tabashibonfeshe. Echo alengo kutila tibachitefyo because they want to see that every person, every Zambian achita benefit, because this is for Zambian people. Echo bachitilefi.
The ruling United Party for National Development, UPND leadership in Northwestern Province says government is committed to ensuring that Kisasa-Mwinilunga Road is worked on permanently. UPND Northwestern Province Acting Chairman Stafford Molusa says his party is aware of the untold hardships that the people of Mwinilunga are currently going through regarding the poor state of the road. Mr. Molusa has sympathized with the people of Mwinilunga and bus operators. He says government is doing everything possible to reconstruct the said road.
We are looking at the critical roads, and one of the critical roads that you all know is the Solwezi. In fact, we would say Kisasa-Mwinilunga Road, because the other part, I think the mines have tried to help us to mend and make it a safer road for everybody. So my appeal to the bus operators on the Mwinilunga Road is that we are doing everything possible to make sure that the road to Mwinilunga is done. Now, I know that a lot of people are looking at the Munirunga Road to be the west in Solwezi, and we all know it is the west road that we have in the province. And I know that, to me, I take it that there's no road going to Munirunga. And when you hear the bus operators trying to back off the road, you would understand, because the status of the road going to Munirunga is actually a struggle. And we sympathize with all the bus operators that are going through this route. But I think as government, we are doing everything possible to make sure that the Munirunga Road is reconstructed, because there's no road to even start mending and all that. But you see, in the meantime, this government is trying to make sure that the bad parts that are on the Munirunga Road are graded. That is the only way that we're going to make it possible for now.
Kabwata constituency member of parliament Andrew Tayengwa says his office is putting in place modalities to put up and upgrade some police posts in order to improve security in the area. Mr. Tayengwa explains that some police posts in his jurisdiction do not operate 24 hours, hence criminals are taking advantage of the situation and engaging in criminal activities at night. He regrets that the KAMWALA trading area has been experiencing spate of robberies. And the parliamentarian says the Mapuloto area in Chilenje Township has been a hub of criminal activities owing to an increase of young people who are being referred to as junkies. He says using the Constituency Development Fund and goodwill from community members, his team intends to put up a police station to curb criminal activities.
The topical issue in Zambia is about community gangs, also known as junkies, who have been terrorizing communities. Alcohol, drug abuse and family disintegration are among attributes to the vice that is spreading like wildfire across communities. Kabwata constituency in Lusaka has not been spared, as a spate of robberies have been recorded around the KAMWALA trading area, among other criminal activities. Earlier Member of Parliament Andrew Tayengwa tells Camnet News that using the Constituency Development Fund, a CDF, and goodwill from members of the community, they are putting up and upgrading some police stations.
What happens is that during the day we'll have the presence of the police, but whenever it starts getting dark after 18:30 or so, we see that criminals, that's when they become more active, because they take advantage of the absence of the police. So we have actually engaged the police command. We have also written to Lusaka City Council that there should be an expansion of that police post and should be running at least within should be running 24 hours in a day. Then the other police post that we are looking at is also a police post at KAMWALA main police post that is right roundabout. I think you have seen that we have a container that has been there for years and years. I think even if we are dealing with criminals or suspects, I think we need to have a human dignity on how we should treat our people. So there is need also for us to put up a police post, a modern one.
Meanwhile, in Chilenje Township, there's one notorious area called Mapuloto, a place littered with bars and home-based taverns, and happens to be a hub for junkies and illicit activities. But what is the parliamentarian doing to ensure sanity?
Our constituency, there's a place we call Mapuloto area in Chilenje. We have also seen that that place also lacks a police post, and we have seen that that is an area where we have actually seen a number of junkies mushrooming. So it's like it's now becoming the center or the hub of junkies. So we identified a piece of land. So we want to engage the business community. If at all we'll have some resources that will be able to remain from the CDF, then we'll definitely use CDF. But if there are business partners that are willing to come by and assist us to put up a police post,
well, addressing increasing criminal activities needs to go beyond just arresting junkies, but resolving the root causes. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
We'll take a break. Join us for more news when we come back from the break.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, too, me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there. From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
On National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest.
And the people that have got the passion and desire are equipped with something. They shouldn't be doing mining like Valeri Makandolo. You know, those people have got the capacity to turn around our economy. These same people that we look down on. We don't have to always be rushing for investors.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV. Not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Police in Lusaka carried out 3 separate operations in which a total of 125 suspected junkies were apprehended and charged with the offense of idle and disorderly behavior. Zambia Police Service spokesperson Ray Hamonga confirmed the development to Camnet News and said that operations were done in Kanyama Compound, Mutandabantu, John Lane, Shalom, Kanyama West, including the transmitter areas. He said from 19 hours on Saturday to the early hours of Sunday, a total of 28 suspected junkies, including 1 female, were picked up during the night patrols within the ages of 17 to 38 years old. Meanwhile, 52 suspects were arrested for idle and disorderly conduct, among them 32 male adults, 4 female adults, 2 female juveniles, and 14 male juveniles in another operation conducted by Chawama Police Station and Lusaka Central Police Station. And Mr. Hamonga disclosed that Charleston Police Station also carried out a targeted junkie operation on June 3, 2023, from 18 hours to 04 hours the following day, in which 45 suspected junkies, including 33 males and 12 females, were apprehended during the operation. He said the operation focused on Ngombe Compound, Kaunda Square Stage 1 and 2, Kamanga Compound, Obama, and parts of Charleston Township. Mr. Hamonga added that these operations form part of the ongoing efforts to combat criminal activities associated with the junkies. Justice Minister Mulambo Haimbe has told Camnet News that his ministry is making headways in harmonizing the criminal laws in the country. The minister says the laws are being harmonized to avoid duplication and make it easy to interpret for efficient justice delivery. The minister says the ministry is also looking at issues bordering on alternative sentences besides custodial sentences.
On substantive amendments that need to be made to that. That process is a long ongoing process, because even
just to put the law in a language that is user-friendly requires a long review process. So that is underway. As we have already said to the people of Zambia, we want our penal laws to be harmonized so that there is no duplication, and also to be responsive to the current times in terms of criminal liability, criminal responsibility. Amongst the changes that we seek to make, for example, include making sure that for minor offences there are alternative sentences instead of custodial sentences, for example, and similar such changes. So that is work that we are doing as the Ministry of Justice.
The Council of Elders in Solwezi District has appealed to the government to allocate funds in the 2024 national budget for the cattle restocking program in Mwinilunga, Zambezi and Chavuma districts. Council Chairperson Kenneth Kapeta says most of the cattle in the 3 districts have depleted. He has also appealed to government to rehabilitate deep tanks that are currently not operational in Zambezi and Chavuma districts.
So it is of great importance for us to have what's known as the cattle restocking. Our cattle in Zambezi and Chavuma have depleted, including in Mwinilunga. And so we want to see expenditures on the cattle restocking in those areas. And indeed, we want to see, you may be interested in knowing that your colleagues, especially the new ones in Solwezi, we have about 9 to 10 deep tanks in Zambezi and Chavuma that are no longer functioning. And so we are of opinion that this particular budget, we want to see it include those so that the deep tanks in those areas can be worked on for our cattle to survive. That done, Director of Programs would like to see also an increase in the CDF. And the purpose to ensure that to allow each district in the province, 11 of them, procure some of the earth-moving equipment. This will help us to ensure that our township roads are worked on. And they'll be moved, after they've procured them, let the young men and women in those districts be trained. NCC must be on its tiptoes.
We'll take our second and final break. Join us for international sports news after the break.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
On National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest.
And the people that have got the passion and desire are equipped with something. They shouldn't be doing mining like Badeli Makandolo. Those people have got the capacity to turn around our economy. These same people that we look down on. We don't have to always be rushing for investors.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a dent with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. And now in international news, tensions remained high in Senegal on Saturday after fresh overnight clashes brought the death toll to 15 in the 2 days since a court convicted opposition leader Ousmane Sonko. Sonko's ongoing legal wars have prompted rare flare-ups of violence in Senegal, typically a bastion of stability in West Africa, and foreign allies have urged a return to calm. Sonko, a 48-year-old former tax inspector, was initially charged with rape but was convicted on a lesser charge of morally corrupting a young woman and sentenced to 2 years in prison. He claims the charges against him were a bid by the government to torpedo his political career ahead of the presidential election next year. His conviction may take him out of the running for the 2024 poll. Clashes between Sonko's supporters and police broke out after a ruling on Thursday, leaving 9 people dead. Shops and businesses were ransacked. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
6 more people have died in clashes between police and opposition supporters in Senegal, taking the death toll from the recent protests to 15. On Saturday, the presidential coalition confirmed this and accused the opposition, led by popular figure Ousmane Sonko, of destabilizing the country. Sonko on Thursday was sentenced to 2 years in jail, sparking riots. Our country has been under attack, but by occult forces, as I said in 2021. At the time, I was criticized for saying this, and even accused of confusing peaceful Senegalese demonstrators with destructive forces. The events of the last few days appear to have opened the eyes of the most skeptical.
Les événements de ces derniers jours semblent avoir ouvert les yeux aux plus sceptiques.
Senegal's Interior Ministry reported no further violence by early Saturday afternoon, but the army still deployed to back up large numbers of police. But the damage seemed to have been done already.
Aujourd'hui, autant que jamais.
Today, more than ever, the people of Senegal are on their feet. I am talking about the real Senegalese. I am not talking about those Senegalese who wanted to fan the flames, to destabilize the country and flee the country and disappear into thin air. Because today they are living in torpor. These are irresponsible people. They called for demonstrations and called for public buildings to be burned. They called for the collapse of the state. Ousmane Sonko's ongoing legal woes have prompted rare flare-ups of violence in the country. The 48-year-old was initially charged with rape, but was later convicted on a lesser charge of morally corrupting a young woman and sentenced to 2 years in prison.
At a security summit in Singapore, Defense Minister Li Shangfu outlines China's position and issues a warning.
In essence, attempts to push for a NATO-like alliance in the Asia-Pacific is a way of holding regional countries hostage and heightening confrontation, which will only cause disputes and plunge the region into conflict.
The US and China are jostling for influence in the region. They've been trading blame, accusing each other of provocative acts and the lack of dialogue.
While many analysts say competition between the US and China has created uncertainties in Asia-Pacific, the main message we've been hearing at this summit is conflict isn't inevitable, but the situation does have to be managed.
Delegates and analysts agree that conflict in the region would be devastating.
The question is, how are you going to get that calibration right? So I think that is where everybody is engaged in a little bit of guesswork, because the opacity of Beijing right now and the difficulty of communicating with Beijing frankly means that trying to get the deterrent signal over is everybody's best guess.
On Saturday, about 2,000 nautical miles away, a near collision at sea. The Pentagon says a Chinese vessel cut across the bow of a US warship in the Taiwan Strait, where it was conducting a freedom of navigation operation with Canada. China says the US Navy's presence in the strait was hostile. It comes a week after the US accused a Chinese fighter jet of a dangerous maneuver in international airspace above the South China Sea. China considers self-governed Taiwan as part of its territory and has laid claim to much of the South China Sea.
The best way is for other countries, especially naval vessel and fighter jets, to avoid such actions around other countries' territory. What's the point of going there? As we always say, mind your own business.
Relations between the US and China are at their lowest in decades, and there's no sign this 3-day conference has done much to improve them.
Senegalese are reacting to the state's restriction of social networks following violent protest by supporters of opposition figure Ousmane Sonko. It comes as the Minister of Interior on Thursday announced the restriction of certain social networks.
Utilisation de YouTube.
Banning the use of YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, etc. is a huge problem for us because we can't get real-time information about where demonstrations are taking place. And our safety is also at stake. I believe that access to information is a right, and the state has no rights to encrypt networks. Tensions remained high on Saturday after fresh overnight clashes brought the death toll to 15 in the 2 days since a court convicted Sonko for corruption of youth. Most internet users are supporters of Usman Sonko, and even entertainers are with him. That's what's bothering the state authorities. But the fact remains that internet users are defending Sonko's cause. Around 71.4% of individuals are signed up to at least one social network platform in Senegal, according to one survey, with Facebook leading the list, followed by Instagram and Twitter, all of which have now been restricted. The demonstrators were posting videos on social networks to inform the whole world, which is why the state cut off the network. It was the posts on the social networks that were informing international opinion of the current situation, and the president doesn't want that. He wants to cut us off from the world. Rights group Amnesty International has urged authorities to stop arbitrary arrest and lift restrictions on access to social media.
It's now time for international sports. In sports news, the Ballon d'Or winning striker who joined the Spanish Giants from Lyon in 2009 will depart on a free transfer when the season ends. Benzema, who had a year left on his contract, is set to move to Saudi Arabia after receiving a record offer from Al Ittihad, according to Spanish football journalist Julem Baluge. Benzema, 35, won 5 Champions Leagues and 4 La Liga titles with Madrid. Saudi state-run Al Ekbariya television station reported on Sunday that Benzema will sign a 2-year deal with Al Ittihad. Real boss Carlo Ancelotti had said on Saturday that he expected the former French international to stay next season. To end Camnet television news, the top stories once again. Lands Minister Elijah MUCHIMA cautions UPND cadres against illegal land allocation. Lusaka's KAMWALA flood victims ask government for intervention as another body is discovered in the area. Lusaka police round up 125 junkies from the compounds. In international news, Senegalese opposition accused of destabilizing the country as death toll hits 15. And in sports news, Karim Benzema to leave Real Madrid after 14 years at the club. Our common verse of the day is coming from Galatians 6 verse 4 to 5. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else, for each one should carry their own load. Thank you again for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.